The Hot Spirngs Broadcast Network.
Welcome to Hello Hot Spirngs, the weekly television show that brings you everything about Hot Spirngs, past, present, and future. The show's about to begin, so if you don't mind, make sure you share this show on Facebook or YouTube with one of your great social media friends. And now it's time for Hello Hot Spirngs. All right, hey, thank you, studio audience there. Well, welcome back to Hello Hot Spirngs after 9 months.
It feels so good to be back.
Yeah.
This is so fun.
Well, I am glad to be here, and we have a few people in the studio audience. We got Mika and Brenda. They're going to be doing something.
Yes.
We got Bob and Alira and Brenda talking about Hot Spirngs, and you and I are going to be talking about things coming up in town.
Oh, my goodness. And there is so much going on. I think everybody is so happy to be vaccinated and back to normal.
Yes, and can you believe the crowds downtown? Holy
I
mackerel.
know. It feels really special
Well, it's
and
exciting,
really good.
other than a little bit more traffic than we're used to. Tell me what's been going on in your life recently.
Oh, my goodness, Sean. We have so much going on at school. Of course, end of the year festivities.
Right.
Third quarter of the moon. Kids
Yeah.
get a little crazy, but
Crazy.
also I think it's, right after spring break. Everybody's just so excited and so ready to be done with the year.
Well, I was excited, and Houston, myself, and Jacob cleaned up the studio. It sort of gets cobwebs, things
Yes.
all around, laying around, ladders and
Now,
garbage.
you had a bit of an emergency
And
this
so,
afternoon,
as
like
we're
hours
clean-
ago.
yeah. So we're cleaning up, and we're getting the studio ready, and, the water company calls me and says, you got 20 gallons per hour running through your thing, and it's been a couple days now. And we go to the cottage. It's a cottage I rent to my son. And we can't find the water leak anywhere. And I'm finally digging down. We see this water thing, and there's this valve, and I'm getting all wet and everything.
I think you could have stopped with the water company called me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's never a good thing.
Well, anyway, so here I am 3 hours before this show and doing all this. And earlier that day, by the way, if you can go through my Facebook feed, our Facebook feed, Hot Spirngs Broadcast Network, Amber Henson from Urban Development Realty did a great piece on the mountain air, and that was up live. The
how
old buildings
fun.
are being
Yes.
restored.
Oh,
really
that's
good.
fabulous.
So I went from that to, doing some plumbing and working at Pullman Restoring a House. But luckily, you and I are here and ready to go.
Yes, it's exciting.
So let's talk about things coming up in Hot Spirngs.
Right. So the Vapors has been totally revamped,
Uh-huh.
and it's under really good care.
Okay.
And there are lots of tribute acts.
What shows are coming up at the
Is it
Vapors?
Legendary Ladies of the 70s?
I believe the Ladies 70s show. I just saw this last weekend, and it was amazing. These are local talent. The musicians, pretty much all of them I've known for years.
Right.
Though I've known Carl a couple years, but I know Tom Myers on bass and Lee Summit. I've been good friends for 20 years. And, we got Shauna, and we got Randy Kaler.
This is not their first
And then
rodeo. They
Jackie
bring
Beaumont.
it every time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They bring it every time. And we got all this talent in. Matter of fact, Houston put together a few clips of some of the things I shot the other day. Houston, can you roll that fabulous 70s shots? Coming up again, let me get the legend show, April 15th at the Vapors.
Yes, and then there's the Remnants of Rock, April
At
9th
the
and 10th at the
Vapors.
Vapors. And then in Maxwell Blade's studio, there's a Freddie Mercury tribute
And
show
it's
coming
good.
up. And
I
I
saw
think
that.
that's one night only.
Yeah, and that's a really good, the guy really is good. What? Tell everybody the night
May
of that.
8th, and that is $20 in advance, $25 at the door. And with it being exclusive, you better get your tickets early.
Man,
I think
that's
it's
gonna
going to sell out. Yeah.
And the guy, I looked online, excellent job of what he does.
He did good. And then this weekend, Derby weekend.
All right,
at
tell everybody about
Oaklawn.
Derby weekend at
well,
Oaklawn.
we're not going to be able to make it Derby Sunday, which I think Derby Day's on Saturday. Derby Sunday's a thing now. My son's getting baptized on Sunday.
Oh, so you're not going to go.
Vinny.
But you've been
So
going to the infield a lot,
every
right?
Sunday we go. It is so much fun. You do not need reservations. The crowds are fun, but sparse. You're not wall-to-wall people. It's all outdoors. It's a fabulous time, and you get to see the ponies.
And if you have kids, Mid-American Science Museum,
yes.
April 17th, tell them what is going on.
Tinkerfest.
Yeah.
And Mid-America Science Museum is just a Hot Springs treasure.
It
We're
really
so
is
lucky to
great.
have it.
There's a lot going on. Well, we are going to have Mika Nelson and Brenda McDaniel talking about a 5-day crystal healing and health tour here in Hot Springs. And what a better place than Hot Springs to have a tour like that. So we're going to have them up next. But first, I want to say hi to Mama Clem over there at Peter's Flooring and Paint, because we're going to go to their commercial now, and we'll be right back in a minute. Okay, Lydia?
All right.
All right.
Well, I've lived here all my life, and it's really grown. I don't see it growing like people from, outside do, because we're here pretty much every day, but the way it's grown, it's just an amazing town. It's an amazing place. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else, and I feel fortunate. Several of our children live here as well, and I feel really fortunate that they can live here too. We have great schools, great education. We have fantastic health care. Our tourism economy is fantastic, so it's just a great place to live. Couldn't imagine anywhere else. For new folks coming to town, we'd come in, we'd be happy to see you. We will, show you all the array of products that we have. Our sales staff will work one-on-one with you to be sure that you get just the right product. If we need to go to your job site or your house, that's no problem. We're happy to do that. And we'll just take care of you and fix you up and be sure you're happy with the product you purchase from us.
Welcome back. I am here with Mika Nelson and Brenda McDaniel. Welcome, you guys. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And you guys host the Sacred Crystal and Diamond Tour of Arkansas. Brenda, tell me a little bit about what you do.
The tour is about, we're going to take people to the different sacred sites around the Hot Springs area. This is a really sacred and special area here. And it's about the crystals, it's about the waters, and it's about the magnetic field.
And people for years and years have revered Hot Springs as this valley of vapors and this, like you said, a sacred place because of these qualities. Tell us about it, Mika.
Well, yes, because, there's a 35-mile wide, 170-mile long strata of quartz crystals here in Arkansas, and it's also the second largest quartz deposit in the world.
You're kidding.
Most people
Second
don't
to
know
none.
that.
Or second to whom?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That is
yeah, so
special.
it's very special. And now, also with everything coming about, Arkansas, especially the Hot Springs area, is really becoming a mecca for people who are being drawn to come here.
They're seeking that healing
Yes.
and that just different experience. You said that people who leave this tour leave like they've had a veil lifted.
Yes.
Like they have experienced something new. And this is June 4th through 9th.
Yes.
The information will be on the screen about how they can sign up for this limited capacity, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
sign up now.
And they can find it through academyforhealingarts.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fabulous. And you guys have been doing this a long time, so you know all of the best spots to go. Tell us about your specimen here that you have, Brenda, if you don't mind.
This is a master crystal, and it comes from one of the sacred sites where we're going to take people, Collier Creek. It's a Collier Creek crystal. And it's a male, female crystal, very rare.
Wow.
It connects you to your Christ self, your Christ consciousness,
Okay.
your love within yourself.
And y'all are going to a few sites that are on private property, so this is definitely an exclusive tour.
Yes.
And y'all have done this for over 30 years?
Yes.
Is that
We've
right?
been working
Okay.
with healing and crystals for over 30 years. Yeah, we're going to be going to crystal mines, and of course you mentioned the diamond mines, and also up to the Talamina Ridge, which is a very special area here in Arkansas. And we're also going to bring people out onto the Sacred Crystal Lake, Lake Ouachita,
Yes.
for a full day excursion.
That's fabulous. It
And
sounds
we're-
so exclusive.
And we're going to teach people about crystals and healing and how to work with them as well.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much again for coming tonight and sharing this with us. Any last thoughts before we have to cut away?
We're going to take them to board camp,
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
the crystal mine there as well. Yeah.
which they were on TV 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're it's very well known now for the phenomenon that's going up there with energy and UFOs and things like that. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's the
Hey.
basis of this is for everyone to have fun and seek knowledge as
Right.
well.
And which y'all seem to be super knowledgeable about this. This is the Sacred Crystal and Diamond Tour of Arkansas coming June 4th through 9th, 2021. Check it out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for having us.
Thank you for coming.
And you saw a little clip from the 4D Theater downtown. They were one of our sponsors. I really support them because it's a great thing to do with kids for about $6. Have you taken your
Oh my
children-
word, my kids are obsessed with it.
Right.
The rolled ice cream, Mammoo's, they'll hit up both of them.
Right.
And then the 4D,
Theater, yeah.
They love it all.
And if you want to find out about homemade ice cream, there's 3 ice cream places in one block,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of them are homemade ice cream, and Kilwins does homemade cones. So, like, I
You
mean,
can smell them.
you could do a
right
whole
outside the shop.
a
It's
tour
great.
of it's crazy down there. A couple of things I want to say that recently this last month we mourned the passing of Clay Farrar and also Larry Myers. Clay was instrumental in so many of the things with the Chamber of Commerce and the town and helping it grow and trying to save the rehab center. He really did so much with that. He's a great guy in this town for years. He's an advocate for many things. As a matter of fact, when I did the video on the rehab center, he called me personally, said, I'd like you to come as my guest to the awards dinner and
Wow.
sit at my table because we
Yeah.
really think what you're done. And that was his idea to have me, and it really moved me. So we
That's
were
great.
friends. And Larry Myers, I didn't get to know, but I got to film him at a real estate event, and he's full of energy. Second generation, and his son is now third generation at Myers Realty.
Wow, that's great.
And real good, energetic guy. And in the next couple of weeks, we got some clips of him at that seminar we're going to play. So we'll miss their passing. And
Now, tell me about the thunderstorms coming up. You
Oh,
said that
tomorrow we
weather's
got-
about to get crazy.
we got thunderstorms coming up.
If you don't like the weather in Arkansas,
Just wait 24 hours,
All
right?
right, wait a minute.
Hey, something we forgot to mention earlier. We were talking about the vapors. Tell me the date that the Fleetwood Mac show is coming
the
up.
Fleetwood Mac show is coming April 17th, I think.
And some of
Yeah.
the same members like Shauna and almost a good amount of them are in the Fleetwood Mac show there too.
So
It's a
good.
really good show at the Vapors. Didn't want to forget that. Also, I said earlier, I mentioned Pullman Street near the end. My sons and I got a fixer-upper, and they're fixing it up. But I'm the oversee guy, and we're painting. And I had Nick Zunick redoing the Yeah, I'll be back in a floors, minute.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing some of the electrical outlets and painting.
That's
and
so
just,
exciting. Is this going to be a
redoing the
long-term
sheetrock.
rental? What are you thinking for it?
So we're thinking a long-term rental.
Okay.
Because there's a shortage of long-term. It's a beautiful area, beautiful porch. And as we're talking now, Houston's putting up footage of just the other day of all that was going on to make
And
it
the
all.
before and afters. I mean, everybody loves a rehab story, and you
know.
guys have done such a good job with
and
this
whole,
one.
that whole area is coming up a lot.
It's so up and coming. I've always loved and this is off of Park Avenue. In
Yep.
case people don't know, Pullman is right there where
Yep.
one of the trailheads is
Sure.
for the.
Matter of fact, the house is 600 feet from the beginning of
That's
the
so cool.
national park. And you know what's cool? People don't realize that. Here you are, a mile and a half from downtown, and you hear birds chirping all the time. Now, you go there in the morning,
Yeah.
there's no cars going by. and it's just a good trade-off from video and real estate. And now I'm doing rehab at the same, so I'm having 4 or 5 jobs at once. But I love going over there and working
Right.
with the birds and everything and
So
supervising.
nice.
And we got Jacob in Houston, as well as my sons Ben and Dan and their friend Doug, and just the young. This happens to be a young set of men over there, and really working to restore this town.
No,
It's
that's
really good.
great. I mean, because you can't get anywhere with these restorations without a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
so
and it's getting harder to find.
that's
younger
super.
people.
Now, did you go to Garvin to see the tulips?
I not yet.
Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah,
go
because I
there.
think they're in
Tulip
bloom right
season
now, and this is the time to go.
Is going over there. Yeah, and also I was looking the other day on how we rank at Facebook. And I gotta just pull something up. in
Like
terms
Hot
of
Spirngs Broadcast Network?
Yeah. So we are really small and have like sort of no budget. And I'm gonna insert this over on the screen, but also Houston's gonna put it up. So I just had to read it. So like Arkansas State Tourism has 141,000 likes, and they have a huge millions of dollar budget. But we're right there at 22,000. Sentinel Record has 25,000. National Park has about 30,000. But we're at 22,000. But most important, our engagement is getting off the charts. So, on one particular week, we had 13,000 engagement, while the Sentinel Record had 10,000 and National Park had 13,003. So we're right up there with
Not
National
to
Park.
compare anybody,
and then,
but no, John, this is all because of you and your hard work. Like, I've never seen anybody just go out and just cover all the fun things that you do. And people are so thankful for it because we want to know what's going on.
Well, it's fun to see that we have this whole crew of people that are, some like, Bob and Lance here volunteering on camera.
Yes.
And then we got Houston and Jacob's apprentice and
Yes.
learning. And so to have everybody who's into Hot Springs and the people
Mm-hmm.
that make comments and we listen to them and we go out and try to cover the town. And even with me going live, and you went live last week,
I did I think that was the first time I got permission, but I was
No.
like, John, can I cover this fundraiser?
Like,
But
yeah.
it was fun.
So we're going to need other people to possibly go live. And if other
Yes.
people want to be on camera, let us know, because it's not all about me or you or whatever. It's just about
well, like
Hot
you said,
Springs.
you've got 6 jobs. I've
Yeah.
just got the one full-time one.
And if there was another me that could be on camera, I'd be fine off camera. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to just sit over there and relax,
Yes.
But I'm excited about the town too. So I think I'm really happy with those rankings. If people are getting 20 or 30, views on Facebook for something they put up in their business,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to tag along to our 2,000 or 3,000. When we did Amber Henson of Urban Development. On the Mountaineer video,
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah.
today, that's already at like 3,800 views, and it's not even up there 8 hours. So she'll have
So if
10,000
you've got
views.
something with it, to do with Hot Springs,
Right.
not selling Tupperware or something, but like you've got an investment in Hot
Yeah.
Springs, you could be a part of the show.
Sure.
How should they contact you, John?
Television@gmail.com or 501-318-4117.
Perfect.
We'd like to bring you on as a team, like Peters or, the 4D Theater, American Tire and Wheel. We're going to play their commercial next,
Super.
Monty. And when we were doing all the snow things, I said, thank you, Monty, at American Tire and
Oh,
Wheel.
I know.
Because we were going up all those steep hills.
For sure.
Yeah, and the snow videos, thank you for watching them, really help boost our audience
Those
too.
were so much
So
fun.
up next we have Bob Alira, and we have Brenda talking. We're going to finish off the show with them talking about what it's like how they decided to move into town, because everybody has an interesting story.
Yeah.
We could go on 24 hours a day with people from all over town, and I never run out of listening to people's interesting story about
Sure.
how they got to this town.
Sure.
It's a little hidden gem. So we're going to go to American Tire and Wheel commercial. We'll be back with Bob and Alira and Brenda and for that last segment. So hang in there, guys. And we are back with a crazy bunch of people. We have Brenda back again. We have Bob back again. And we introduce Alira. How are you?
I am so good.
You're just talking that mic.
Yes,
I feel like,
yeah.
Phil Donahue here. All right, so we want to talk about, everybody has a crazy or cool story about coming to Hot Springs. So we'll just sort of spend about a minute in each one and then back and tell people after that. We're going to talk about why people are moving, do you think, to Hot Springs and what draws you here. Brenda, what drew you to Hot Springs?
The crystals.
Yeah. And so, but the first time you were here, did you thought I could live here or just want to visit? Like the first time?
I met a guy that owned 3 crystal mines.
Oh, really?
That's how I got here originally.
But before that, didn't you live in St. Louis? In St. Louis? Did you live there in St. Louis?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. And by moving here, was there a big culture shock?
Yes.
Yeah. But you stayed.
It's so beautiful here.
Well, great.
And it's just so beautiful, and the crystals and the waters. I just loved it here. Getting out of the city, it really helped me.
Well, good. And Bob, let's get to that 2-shot there, Houston. So, Bob, talk to us about.
Well, what happened was we would go, being Hungarian, we would go to Budapest and go to the baths, outdoor giant Roman-style baths, and we just got into that thermal culture thing. And then a friend said, they got that stuff up in Hot Springs. And being in Austin at the time, it's like, where's that? It's like anything out of the country of Texas. Like, I don't know where that is. And so we started to come up, got the Arlington weekend package, the pass, the buffet, blah, blah, blah. And we'd go in between Christmas and New Year's, and it'd be cold, and we'd go up to the pool up on the hill. And then we realized that we started to feel younger here. Like, by the time we were done with about 4 days, we were like, I feel like 10 years younger all of a sudden. What is going on? And then we realized that something was going on. And then we realized that for me it was, I'm quartz crystals and all that, I'm intimately aware of all that stuff, but it was the water, and it was the smell of that water in the thermals, and then I'd go to Whole Foods, and their bottled 365 water was Hot Springs water. I would just smell that water and go, oh,
this is where I need to live.
This is where I need to live.
This right here.
And because I'd go to Austin, like on the I-30 halfway down, and my nails were all bit off, and I've been making lists and stuff.
So it's a certain calmness here. Now, Alira, I want to introduce you to the thing. And you can just talk in that direction because the mic and
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the mics.
But tell us about, because you got excited. It's similar to what Bob was doing.
No,
I think.
I was kind of laughing when he was saying about the waters. I'm like, if I stay here long enough, I'll become a fetus.
Oh,
Just
no.
kidding.
But you get younger,
but
yeah.
No, I thought this was great. I just went in the tubs for the first time last week. I've only been here since the beginning of March.
Out of town.
And how I got here was an interesting story. But when I went in these tubs, I had an excruciating pain in my hips before I went in. And I came out, it was like a miracle the next morning.
Right.
That I was like, this is crazy. I knew it was going to be good, but I had no idea. And then of course, my new friends that I've made here, they took me up to Collier, is it Collier Spring? Yeah, up on Mount Ida.
Collier Springs.
Yeah, and we got the water, and that water was like, I'm a water freak, a water snob, definitely. And I tried to go. I was so obsessed with this water that I took my little Mini Cooper up there, which it's like 4-wheel drive, and I was like, I'm gonna make it on the mountain, and I did. I got up there and I got water for myself.
And you guys have all been to Lake Washita, speaking of water?
Yeah.
And that, I know people that say, if I wanted to leave Hot Springs, I couldn't because of Lake Washita.
Oh, yeah,
Just
that's it.
the swimming and the water's beautiful and the peace.
65-70% of the reason to be here.
I mean, if you get out on a boat in the evening and you go out there and come back, at 9, 10 at night, you cannot stay awake. Like at 10:30 or 11, and like it puts you to sleep. There's something about that air coming off the water.
It's the water, and it's what's under it.
Yeah.
Because you say, I'm going to the lake, people think like, well, is that like Lake Erie? No, this is the antithesis of Lake Erie, okay? That when you spend 3 hours floating in that water, when you come out, your friends will go, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're ready.
It's like being held in this silken
Beautiful.
hand.
Except in late August. It gets a little warm. In late August, it gets like beyond bathtub warm
It's
sometimes.
pretty warm.
So tell us about
But the whole bottom is covered with crystals, right?
Well, I have not
Yeah,
dove
they
down
say.
there.
Crystal mines under the whole lake.
Yeah.
in a small town.
I mean, so that does something energetically. Tell us about the lifestyle you experience from where you were to where you are now? Because you were in California,
San
right?
Diego.
San
San
Diego.
Diego, yes.
And you
A
were in
wonderful
Austin.
town,
You were
yeah,
in
right, yeah.
Kansas City. Why do I keep saying St. Louis? But because I think your daughter was in St. Louis. Maybe that was it. Or you came through there. But Missouri
It's
to
in Missouri.
that's good enough, right?
They're both in Missouri.
So wait a second. So you all came here.
Missouri.
What do you experience about the lifestyle in Hot Springs that makes it interesting to live here?
What, you want to go in order? Or you
Yeah,
wanna
well,
just
we'll
throw
go
it
in
out?
order. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I
Let's get
like
the
where
two
I
shot.
live at now because I live on North Mountain, which is this mountain where we're at right now.
Narf?
North
North,
Mountain.
Okay.
Hey, it's a Missouri accent there. Leave it a Missouri accent. And then what else?
My hearing going.
So I'm in the national park,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 3 minutes from downtown Hot Springs.
Right.
And I come up to my house. I'm in the woods.
Yep.
And it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
The deer, like John was talking about the birds earlier.
Yeah, the birds. And why do you think we're getting so much growth? Because you told me 10, 12 years ago, you said Hot Springs is going to be like Austin. People are going to be coming and coming. I'm like, you think so? Oh, yeah. 10, 12 years later, look at it. So what do you think?
It's just happening now, but it's because of the COVID accelerator. That's what I call it, basically, because anything people were going to do, they're going to do it sooner now because of instability, general instability. If you're going to buy that house, or you're going to move, you're going to buy that car, you're going to do it sooner now because everything's unstable. You don't know if you have a future. So large displacement, plus COVID made it obvious that 65% of people could work at home because they used to just go to work because they had better computers there.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do 65% of people can work at home. So if that's the case, they don't have to pay San Diego prices or live in a
Right.
van to work for Microsoft. They could live here for $25,000 overhead and be the richest guy in
And
town.
you lived in San Diego.
Yes.
So tell me about the prices there compared to here.
Oh my God! Yeah, you
And
could
lean
live.
closer to the
You
mic.
could hide.
Yeah.
You could for where I'm living now in a cottage,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful cottage in against the national forest. That would get you a closet in San Diego.
Yeah, yeah. My,
I mean,
yeah.
it was literally.
Yeah, my
like-
friend rents 35 miles out of Austin. He rents army tents on the ground for $350 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy,
And
crazy.
you know what? You're probably too new here, but I know you guys have brought people to town meeting, come and visit, and they end up staying. And
Like Micah.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I
And like
didn't
you with
bring him, but
Lance,
I
and
met
you
him.
know.
Well, people we would like to be here, we try to dilute the place upwards, you know.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it's a really nice, energetic mix of people that have lived here and then people that are moving here. And I think
Yeah,
people.
and it's quality of life issues. Everybody has a different list. Whatever your list, clean air, clean water, low taxation, low cost of housing, beautiful nature. I mean, there's 5 that almost everybody would agree on.
And what were you going to say, Lyra?
No, I was just saying for me, one of the things that
Lean
drew me, I
closer.
to do a recon,
Uh-huh.
as it were. I got guidance. I work as an intuitive, and I got this guidance to move to Hot Springs, Arkansas. I've never been here, and I kept going. Arkansas, really? You know,
Yeah.
have I done that? And so I finally did a little recon back in December and came here, and I met all of these like really just lovely people who are so authentic. I mean, we have all kinds of things in California. There's lovely things going on, and there's some poser stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And there were such like lovely, more substantive people, and they were tuned in certain ways that were, like, I was calling them sort of the uncommon shamans, like these people who had like mad skills. They were like healers or psychics or whatever they were.
Don't squeeze the shaman.
And you know,
I don't squeeze the
do that.
shaman.
And I find that people here,
Said the Dalai Lama.
along with what you were saying, is that they want to help you out. Even my friend in California said, "You just lend a guy a bunch of lights." I said, "Yeah, he lends me some
You know
photographs."
what you're talking about? You're talking about fabric of community, and that's what everybody is missing. Every year, my life is faster and faster, and I don't have time to see anybody. And they make an appointment 3 weeks later, and they blow it. So the truth is, people where there's more trees than people, the fabric of community comes back together. And when you're like hanging around the kitchen, laughing and talking with your friends, and you realize, oh, this is the way people used to live.
And it's
it
not so
doesn't
hustle
get any
bustle.
better than this. And then that, like, I got a call tonight from a friend who's, was in the hospital. Well, you have a support net here of people
Yes,
that will come
yes.
to your rescue.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that is what people are missing, and that's what we have. And a lot of it's due to the fact that this is not a place, you sort of got to bring your own money and your own spouse here. You're,
So it's a DIY.
Am I wrong, people?
Well, yeah.
Right. Gotta bring your own.
Bring your own BYOS.
So, 'cause, so, but if you got that covered, or you're okay with whatever you got, then
No,
this
I've
is,
known people that have met people here, but
does happen, it does
I think it's harder for the women than the guys for whatever reason, and I can understand that. Brenda, any last words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just really like it here. I'm glad I'm here. I spend a lot of time out in California now, and
Get a two-shot.
when I come back, the cost of living is just in California just blows me away.
Right.
And when I come back here, I mean, a little studio apartment is $3,000 a month in the
Right.
Bay Area, easy.
that is infectious, though, and that's what we have to be careful that
Yeah.
that doesn't happen
Yes.
here.
Is a balance, and it's always going to be a progression forward to a point where people are going to say it ain't like it used to be. Question is that going to be 15 years or 20 years or 30 years? In the meantime, I think we enjoy this wonderful town and the growth we're having and sort of the coolness of it all. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will try to have this conversation again some other time.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on the show.
It was fun to be back.
And I'm going to try to do the show next week if you can be here.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see it. Thanks for all the people out there watching Hot Springs Broadcast Network. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on Instagram and YouTube.
Yes.
And any ideas you have, email them to television at gmail.com.
Perfect. And you can find us on Facebook Messenger too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
You'll message back. And Lydia, pleasure as always, girl.
Thank you,
We'll see you
John.
next week here at the Hot Springs Broadcast Network.
You are watching the Hot Springs Broadcast Network.